Donald Trump to rebrand the Defense Department as the War Department. Loves war. Said he wanted to be the peace president. Remember when Trump ran on a campaign of ending all wars? Well, he's now rebranding the Department of Defense to Department of War, making his mark. The photo of Pete Hegseth, source to the Department of Defense, but perhaps by the time this story publishes, there will no longer be a department by that name. President Donald Trump is expected to sign an executive order Friday. Will begin a rebrand of the Pentagon as a Department of War. It's a move that the president and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have previewed in recent days, including Trump in the Oval Office last week, when he told reporters his administration was going to change the name. We call it the Department of Defense, but between us, I think we're going to change the name, President telling reporters on August 25th. We won the war. World War I, World War II. It was called the Department of War, and to me, that's really what it is. Defense is part of that, but I have a feeling we're going to be changing that. Trump's anticipated executive order to revive the Department of War name will authorize the Secretary of Defense, the Department of Defense, and subordinate officials to use secondary titles such as Secretary of War, Department of War, Deputy Secretary of War, in official correspondence, public communications, ceremonial contexts, and non-statutory documents within the executive branch, according to a fact sheet obtained by CNN. The order is expected to direct all executive departments and agencies, to recognize and accommodate these secondary titles in internal and external communications, and will instruct Hegseth to recommend actions, including legislative and executive actions, to permanently rename the U.S. Department of Defense to the U.S. Department of War. That, according to that fact sheet. White House official previously told CNN that Trump was expected to sign an executive order changing the department's name. The last time the department's name was changed took an act of Congress. Well, they've been out to lunch for several years now. CNN reached out to the White House earlier about how it would change the name this time. Department of War, as it was once called, was first established by President George Washington when he founded the country's army. But the name was later changed in 1949 as part of a broader reorganization of the military under President Harry Truman. Truman signed the National Security Act in 1947. It merged the Department of the Navy, the newly created Department of the Air Force, and the Department of the Army, previously the Department of War, according to the Army, into one organization called the National Military Establishment under the civilian Secretary of Defense. National Military Establishment was renamed the Department of Defense in 1949, August of that year. Senator, I want you to take it away. I don't know, and maybe you'll address this, why this president, he loves a distraction, but he's also obsessed with the past. Make America great again. Confederate flags and monuments. Let's go back to the days. I'm going to protect the woman, whether they like it or not. I mean, George Washington, when, it was first called the Department of War, he also had wooden teeth. We don't have those anymore. I don't believe, unless, I don't know. You know anybody with wooden teeth? My point is, we progressed. And I don't understand why he keeps wanting to moonwalk back. Okay? What say you?
Moonwalking back on the bad of the United States of America. I mean, again, so blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. I mean, I'm taking that out of the Christian Bible. I know everybody doesn't rock that way, but blessed are the peacemakers. Department of War, words have meaning. Words create worlds. And this obsession with war, when you aptly named, he said he was going to be the best peace president ever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So he's just doing these little things, it's kind of like tapping on, just tap, 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 tap. Because he wanted to get to the deep-seated things that can be done with the power that he has. And some Americans might get giddy over this, but there's nothing to get giddy about. He could be using, again, this energy and this synergy to do something meaningful that will actually change material conditions. Having a war mentality is not good for anyone. They're called WW1 for a reason, WW2 for a reason, and by the love of God, for the love of God, if we ever get a WW3, it is all over. So this obsession with war and thinking this makes him more of a man, I guess. I will tell you what will make him a great president. Universal health care, doing with unhoused, making sure the homeless people are housed, increasing the federal minimum wage, doing away with the sub minimum wage, et cetera, et cetera. Sharon, I could think of so many things that this president could do with that energy that he has and that chutzpah that he has to truly make America great for the very first time. Because you can't go too far back because it messes with us and the Native Americans and so many other groups.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, just start baby steps. Put my forever First Lady, Michelle Obama's garden back. His ankles have been swollen, the report said. Get healthy. Put the garden back at the White House. Start small. We don't need this. It's going to cost tens of millions. I don't know. It could be $100 million. We'll get you the numbers if this thing progresses.